Right. So let's get started. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here today. So my name is Rachel Merchant, and I'm a clinical social worker and a health educator at Northern Westchester Hospital. And this is the Calming Sense program, which is brought to you by the Center for Healthy Living, also through Northern Westchester Hospital. This program was created with the guidance and expertise of Tony Russo, who's the clinical program manager of integrative health at Northern Westchester. And she's a wonderful source of knowledge and support for our patients. And I thank her for sharing her invaluable skill set with me. Tony runs an excellent and immensely popular chair yoga program through our Center for Healthy Living. So I definitely encourage you to check out these amazing programs through Eventbrite or our hospital's website. And I just want to briefly talk about our integrative health department, which is available to patients who are hospitalized at Northern Westchester. It's a great resource for coping with the challenges of a hospital stay. Patients can ask their nurse or doctor or call the operator to be connected. Also, if a patient is receiving radiation or chemotherapy at our cancer center, they're entitled to 7 free sessions within the center's holistic wellness program. And I'm going to share information for our integrative medicine department and information for how to register for Tony's awesome chair yoga classes and other Center for Healthy Living programs at the end of this webinar. So after this program, you're going to be prompted to complete a short survey. Please consider doing so, as we really value your feedback. It's very helpful for us to hear any feedback or comments you may have. And I encourage you throughout this program, the chat feature is available to you. Please share any questions or comments that you have. So this Calming Sense program was created to introduce the mental wellness benefits of sense, and we'll talk more about what that means, and the ways that we can use our sense of smell and our other senses to seek calm and relaxation. So during this presentation, I'm going to be encouraging you to try to experience the sense yourselves. And if you would like to participate in this, I encourage you to grab 1 or 2 spices from your spice cabinet, whatever you have: cinnamon, rosemary, oregano, vanilla, really anything you have and like on hand, and 1 piece of fruit. That could be anything, really: an orange, a plum, a peach, an apple, a banana, even a raisin, whatever you have on hand and whatever you like. And if you're unable to access either of these, or you prefer to just listen, that's completely okay too. So welcome, and let's get started. So I want to start by talking about why sensory activities. Why are we talking about sensory activities in this webinar? And it's for a couple of different reasons. So with sensory activities, we are able to engage, just like it sounds, our senses. And this can mean using our sense of smell, right, which is what we're going to really focus on today, our sense of taste, our sight, hearing, right, sense of touch. And sensory exercises are a really interesting way to access calm and relaxation. So for some people, right, we might use meditation to relax, we might use exercise, we might use music or some other kind of movement, right? Movies. There's all different ways that we can relax. But some people find different types of relaxation a bit tougher to access. And so sensory exercises can kind of come in and be a helpful alternative. Also, you know, all of those exercises, music, physical exercise, meditation, muscle relaxation, breathing exercises, they do engage our senses, but that's not their main purpose. And sometimes if we're feeling overwhelmed or having trouble stopping racing thoughts, sensory activities can be a really helpful break. It allows us to switch focus. It allows us to engage our senses without needing to focus our thoughts. And so sensory exercises are also really helpful for any age. Children can find sensory exercises really, really helpful, and adults as well. And so, especially if either you or someone in your life has found it tough to do meditation, for example, or other forms of relaxation, you might find that you really like sensory exercises. It's a good alternative to consider. So let's highlight sense of smell. There's a lot of powerful and familiar uses for our sense of smell, right? These might be allowing us to enjoy food, right? Smell is a large part of taste. Allowing us to sense danger, right? If we smell a food and it smells off, right, we know it might make us sick, so maybe we're not going to eat it. And it also could be smelling gas, smelling smoke, right? Something that's warning us of a danger. And I think the COVID pandemic has further highlighted the importance of sense of smell because many struggled with losing their sense of smell or taste when they became ill. So I think we may have a heightened appreciation for how important and powerful our senses of smell are. And so a use of our sense of smell that we may not think about as much is sense of smell to support mental wellness. So scents can be used for relaxation, energy, calm, to improve mood, as a strategy to reduce stress. And you can maybe think back to a time that you were smelling something, either you were out somewhere, you were eating a food, and all of a sudden it brought back a memory, right? Sense of smell can be a really, really powerful source for memory. And we can actually use that to connect a positive association with the smell to enhance our mood. So when we're looking at different smells, right, because there's a lot of different smells out there, how can we know what different smells impact our mood? So one way to do it, and there's two ways to do this, but I want to start with one way to do that, which is look at the plants themselves. So I'm going to give two examples here, and you can expand this to scents that you like. So think about the lavender plant, right? Sort of gray, dusky leaves, small purple flowers, right? Somewhat subdued looking plants, right? So lavender is very relaxing, soothing, calming. Then let's contrast that with oranges, right? An orange tree. Orange trees are big and bold, bright green leaves, really bold looking fruits, right? That are bursting with juice and flavor and tangy. So citrus, right? Oranges and other citrus fruits are energizing, right? They give us energy. So it's an interesting way to think about how scents might impact our mood. Another way to do this, and really I feel the most important way, is how different scents make you feel, right? Because we're the ones that get to determine the biggest impact. So explore your personal reaction, right? And so if you've brought any spices with you, now I would encourage you to take them out. So I have three spices here. I have cinnamon, I have cloves, and I have rosemary. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just take a moment, open up the spices. We don't want to bring it too close to our noses, a safe distance so that you can smell it, but you're not, inhaling any particles or anything like that. And just take a few breaths, nothing too deep, but just a few gentle breaths with the scent. And as you do that, just try to focus on the scent itself. Does it remind you of anything? Does it make you think of anything? What about the smell do you like or dislike? And you can close your eyes for a moment if you'd like to really fully engage your sense of smell. And just think about how you feel. Think about how you respond to the smell. And you can do this, take a few calming breaths. You can move on to another scent. Right? I'm smelling rosemary, which is probably one of my favorite scents, a kind of earthy, piney scent, right? Kind of reminds me of good food that I like, maybe some natural memories, right? Being in the forest around some evergreen trees. Maybe there's like a personal memory that it connects you with. So as you take these deep breaths and as you consider the scent, try to check in with yourself for a moment, right? How does this smell make you feel? And that can be a hard question to answer right away, especially if you've never tried before. But this is something you can do a couple of times and just kind of cue into your mood, right? If I smell this for, a minute or two, where is my mood, right? Do I feel a little bit calmer, a little bit more centered, right? And you can do this to really consider the impact of the scent on your mood. I think that each of us responds differently. If you feel nothing at all, that's completely fine too, right? We all have different experiences. We all have different reactions. And remember that the breathing in and out, the act of carefully, thoughtfully breathing is relaxing. We're not really sure how to respond. So let's talk about for a moment where you can seek scents to enhance your mood. I'm going to try to show my screen. Here we go. And really, scents are all around us. So we can look for scents anywhere, right? Anywhere in our homes, anywhere around us. So this could start in our kitchen, right? The spices that we just came up with that we might have just tested, right? Foods in our kitchen, herbs, fresh herbs, dried herbs, in addition to the ones in our spice drawer. This could be fresh fruits or cooked fruits or vegetables. The scents that we take in when we're cooking, preparing food for ourselves or loved ones. This could be scents that could be found in our bathroom, right? Soaps, shampoos, right? If we like taking calming baths, right? There might be scents associated there, perfumes, lotions. And nature, right? Outside, scents are everywhere, not only flowers, but think about the smell after it rains, right? Freshly cut grass. The smell when the seasons change, right? There's very distinct smells like fall, the leaves that are crunching and kind of coming down, the crisp air, right? As the weather gets colder and maybe even of snow, right? Summer, hot weather, maybe the beach, salty air. So we can really seek scents anywhere that we go. And it's important to notice that because using our sense of smell to relax is incredibly accessible. We can do it anytime and anywhere. I want to highlight that aromatherapy, right? The idea of aromatherapy is using plant extracts for healing purposes. And this is most often done through essential oils. And essential oils have to be used very carefully and under proper direction to ensure they work and to ensure that they are safe. But I do also want to highlight a lot of people like and enjoy using essential oils, but they're not necessary. You don't have to use essential oils to get a benefit from scents. And we can use natural scents very safely and very effectively too. So I just want to highlight that we can use scents and it doesn't have to be through essential oils. We received a few questions ahead of this presentation many of them were about essential oils. So thank you all of you who shared your questions. And I wanted to touch on some of them here. Many asked about natural scents to be used, and we covered some of these in your home, right? If you don't feel comfortable with chemical scents, right? Flowers, fruits, soaps, right? Even boiling cinnamon sticks, right? That earthy, warm fall, warming scent can be really beneficial. And, we had some questions about how to access different scents through essential oils, diffusers, or machines where expand on the scent, that's an option. Candles, right? But all of those do have risks associated with them. So natural scents don't. It's really a matter of personal preference and who's in your home. And I also got a question about toxicity, right? If any specific scents might be toxic to cats or dogs. And I think that, there are actually quite a few that can be toxic. And I'm going to try to put a couple of articles into the chat box if you're interested in this topic. There are different scents that are toxic to cats and scents that are toxic to dogs. And my recommendation would be just consider any essential oil toxic and just make sure it's out of reach and safe. And if anything were to happen, if you had a pet that ingested a scent, just to please call poison control, animal control as well, and to make sure that they're safe. And also, with children, using essential oils has to be done very carefully and safely because not all scents are safe. So just be aware that natural scents do have some benefits to not, have to be concerned about the safety side. We also had a question about if bottles of essential oils expire. So it's a tricky concept because it's expiration of being, kind of like degraded, like with food versus the actual quality of the scents kind of decrease over time. So I'm going to share here a resource that talks about different shelf lives of essential oils from a company that produces them, but it's a few years is usually a standard measure, but you can look up your specific essential oil and get information. And there's options for storage as well. So if you store essential oils in smaller bottles, so you're not opening them as regularly, so they're less likely to degrade, there's a lot of information out there about how to care for your essential oils better. We also had a question about essential oils while traveling. So there's a lot of ways to just bring really small, safe amounts, like on cotton rounds or other options that are transportable. But I'm also going to go back to natural scents, right? You can use a sachet, some lavender in a little mesh bag and take it with you and smell it on your trip, or other, other types of scents that you find calming and relaxing. So I definitely recommend considering ways that you can bring natural scents with you that you may not have to be as concerned about safety or liquid. And we also got a question about using aromatherapy to sleep, which is a great question. And so you can use similarly a cotton ball with essential oils. You can try an aromatic bath before bed, at least an hour before bed. And you can either have some kind of product, right, with scents in the bath, or you can be smelling essential oils or a natural scent. Lavender is a great relaxing scent at the end of the day. And again, you can put some lavender into a little mesh bag and have it by your pillow. And you really want to make sure that if you are using scents to kind of get ready for bed, to try to make you drowsy or sleepy, that you're aiming for relaxing and balancing scents, right? Not something that's invigorating or energizing, right? Like that strong citrus or peppermint that's going to be more likely to perk you up than help you settle down. So let's talk about how we might use different scents for wellness. And I just want to talk about two specific scents. And one of these is rosemary. And so rosemary can be a really soothing, beneficial scent. So I'm going to highlight rosemary and cinnamon. And I want to talk about the connection between how we can actually use these different scents to help benefit our moods. So rosemary can help enhance brain function. That can be good for our seniors, help boost memory. It's calming and soothing. And so we can use either the fresh herb or the dry herb, like the one I have right here. And you can put it in water on the stove and kind of bring it to a boil. And you can carefully, with a good distance, breathe in that scent of the boiling rosemary. And you can actually preserve the rosemary water, which is good for your skin and hair. So that's one way that you can kind of get a benefit in a natural way from the scent of rosemary. Cinnamon is a scent that is very invigorating. It's calming and warming, and it's nice in the colder months if you're feeling cold to kind of have that nice warming cinnamon scent. And if you want to elicit that feeling of warmth and relaxation, you can also boil cinnamon in a pot of water. You can also put it into like a mesh bag, a sachet, and have cinnamon sticks in there to smell. And that can be a nice, soothing, warming activity. And, balancing scents are really important. And Tony helped teach me this. It's this idea that balancing scents are ones that can bring you up when you're feeling down And if you're feeling too hyped up or over-energized, can relax you, right? So the idea is to get to a calming middle. And scents like these are really beneficial. Another one is vanilla, which is a very calming, soothing scent and is good for PMS. And citrus, interestingly, so citrus can be really energizing, but citrus that is sweeter can be more balancing. Sour citrus can be more invigorating and energizing. So that can actually have to do with the ripeness of a fruit. So for example, an orange that is underripe might be more sour and the scent of it more invigorating. An orange that is fully ripened and sweet can actually be more of a balancing scent, which is cool to think about. And peppermint, as I mentioned before, is not considered a balancing scent. It's really an energizer or kind of an up scent. So if you're trying to soothe, relax, feel calm, definitely wouldn't recommend peppermint. But if you're looking for a burst of energy, right, that can be a scent to consider. So what I want to do now is introduce an exercise, a sensory exercise. We're going to do two. First, a sensory exercise using our minds, and then a sensory exercise engaging our five senses. And please participate in these activities at whatever amount or level you feel comfortable. I welcome you to try them out, see how you feel, and see if this might be something you want to add to your relaxation routine. So we're going to start with something that we call a lemon meditation. I'm trying to share my screen, but if this doesn't work, that's okay. And so for this first one, I am going to be asking you to close your eyes. But if you're not comfortable with closing your eyes, that's completely fine. You can just, either glance really downward or find a place to direct your gaze that's non-engaging, like a blank wall. So if you feel comfortable, please close your eyes at this time. I'm going to ask you to picture a lemon. Bring the image of the lemon to the front of your mind. What color is it? In your mind, describe the yellow that you see. Is it sunny and bright, bold, maybe almost shocking to your eyes? Imagine reaching out and grabbing hold of the lemon. What do you feel? Notice the texture of the lemon's peel. Maybe it feels cold coming from the fridge. Squeeze the lemon gently and feel its juices flowing inside. Bring the lemon up to your nose and inhale the citrusy, sweet smell. Take a few deep breaths in and out, in and out, savoring that lemony smell. In and out, in and out. Imagine yourself bringing out a cutting board, placing it on the counter in front of you, and getting out a sharp knife. Imagine yourself cutting into the middle of the lemon and watch the juices bursting forth as you slice through it. Notice the strong, invigorating smell emerging as the lemon is sliced. Take a half of the lemon in your hand and bring it up towards your mouth. Tip the lemon and squeeze slightly to release the juices into your mouth. What do you notice? What do you taste? Take a moment to savor the flavor. Notice the taste on your tongue and the feeling of the lemon juice in your mouth. How do you respond to the sour, bold taste? What do you notice in your body's reaction? take a few seconds more to enjoy your lemon experience. When you're ready, open your eyes. So I'm going to launch a poll question, and I'd like you to think about what you noticed during the lemon meditation. If you noticed any of the following, and you can choose as many of them as you would like. Did you notice your lips puckering, your mouth watering, your tongue tasting different flavors? Was there any other experience that you had while participating in the lemon meditation? Or maybe you didn't notice anything at all, which is completely fine. So I'll give just one more moment if anyone else would like to share their feedback and responses. Okay. So thank you all for sharing. And it looks like we had a decent percentage, more than half, experienced their mouth watering, their tongue tasting flavors. About 40% experienced their lips puckering, and half had some other sensory experience. And a few didn't notice anything, which is completely fine, right? We all have different experiences, and we all experience sensory exercises differently. So if you were able to experience any of these sensations that we listed in the poll, or other sensations that you experience, just take a moment to notice how profound that really is. If thinking about a lemon can change my body's reaction, what else can I do with my thoughts? Right? Our thoughts have enormous power for change, even if brief, right? So when we recognize our capacity to use our minds to support our well-being, that can give us a strong sense of control, especially in times that we might not feel totally in control. And that control can be over our mental wellness, over our minds, our bodies, and our experiences. And it can remind us that we get to choose our reactions and our moods. And feeling more confident, or gaining our confidence in this area, can have enormous benefits for our mental wellness. So if you found that activity enjoyable or interesting to experience, sensory engagement and reactions from just our minds, I definitely encourage you to consider trying that at a later date with other foods, with other fruits, to kind of think about how powerful your thought is, especially in a moment where you might need a reminder, right? We all can use that reminder sometimes. So the lemon meditation allowed us to engage our senses mentally. Now, let's use our senses to engage with a piece of fruit. If you'd like to participate along with me in this exercise, please take out a piece of fruit. So I'm going to use a mandarin orange for this exercise. Grapefruit, peach, plum, banana, apple, grape, raisin, right? Anything you have on hand. And as I said earlier, if you want to just listen, that is perfectly good too. So to start this exercise, we're going to aim to engage all of our senses. We want to try as much as possible to be fully immersed in the experience. So to start, and I'm going to do this along with you, bring the fruit in front of your eyes and really look at it, really study it carefully. What do you see? Describe the fruit in your mind. What are its colors? Are they dark or light? Is it one distinct color, or are there changing hues? Are they bold colors or soft colors? What shape or shapes do you notice, right? Do you notice any patterns on the outside, right? So as an example, with my mandarin, I can say very clearly there's almost a star shape on the bottom, as well as on the stem. There's a pattern of little indentations all around the skin. There's a bold, bright color with some differences in browns and marks on the skin, right? So consider your fruit in front of you. Really look at it, right? Try to observe it fully and recognize everything that there is to see with your eyes. Hold the piece of fruit in your hands. Run your fingers around it to observe its texture. What do you feel? Is it smooth? Is it bumpy? Is it squishy or hard to the touch? How does the fruit feel in your hands? Squeeze it slightly to notice its presence in your hands. Is it heavy or light? Is it cold from the fridge? Warm from the counter? I can notice with my mandarin orange a bumpy texture on the skin, right? Folds on the bottom, a little bit cold from when it was in the fridge, and a heavy feeling. Is there anything that you can hear, right? That might sound a little bit strange, but maybe if it's a very juicy fruit, maybe you can hear some juices inside as you squeeze it. If your fruit has a skin that you peel before eating, like for example, this mandarin orange, peel off a piece of the skin and try to observe what sound it makes, right? What do you hear? Also, if you were able to peel a piece of skin off of your fruit, notice how the inside of the fruit might feel different from the outside. And just take a moment to pay attention to your reflections. Bring the piece of fruit up to your nose. Take a few deep breaths, inhaling the scent of the fruit. And you can close your eyes for this if you like, or keep them open. What do you smell? Is it a strong smell or light? Is it sweet, tangy, floral, bitter? Describe the scent in your mind. What about the smell do you like? And what about the smell might you dislike? If your fruit does have a skin that you can remove, peel off another piece of skin and bring the fruit close to your nose. Does the smell get stronger when the skin is removed? Consider how these smells make you feel. Take a few more breaths, inhaling the fruit scent and checking in with yourself to consider how you feel as the scent fills your nose. Energized or calm? Relaxed or focused? Do any memories come up for you related to the scent that you're smelling? Take a piece of fruit in your mouth or bite your fruit if you have a fruit that you can bite. As you bite your fruit, first let it sit in your mouth before chewing. Do you notice an urgency to start chewing? Consider that feeling without any judgment. Notice if your mouth is watering in anticipation of chewing the food. Can you distinguish any flavors while the fruit sits in your mouth? Slowly start chewing the piece of fruit. And as you do, notice the flavors on your mouth and on your tongue. Try to describe the flavor in your mind. Is it sweet or sour or both? Tangy or bitter? Is it a bold or soft taste? What do you like about the taste? And what do you dislike about the taste, if anything? What flavors popped out to you first? As you chew, notice the feeling of the fruit in your mouth. Is it cold or warm? Is it releasing juices as you chew? What does the texture of the fruit feel like on your tongue and around your mouth? And how does that texture change as you chew it thoroughly? As you pay attention to these sensations, take a few more bites of your fruit. Savor the experience for a few moments more, engaging all of your senses. Observe the fruit, its colors and textures as you take a bite. Notice the feeling of the fruit in your hands and the energy you take as you move the fruit towards your mouth. Notice any sounds. Your biting of the fruit, your chewing, maybe of juices dripping like I have mandarin juice down my arm. Can you sense a stronger smell as you bite into the fruit? Continue to observe the smells and tastes and all your senses for a couple moments more. When you are ready, put the fruit down and take a few deep breaths. In and out, in and out, in and out. How do you feel? Consider both your mind and your body. Have your muscles relaxed or tensed? Did you change your position at all in your seat? Do you feel calm or energized? Focused or sleepy? Relaxed? Take one more moment to observe how you're feeling in your mind and body. And then bring your attention back to the screen. I'm going to launch another poll and ask you to share how you felt after that fruit sensory exercise. And you can choose all that might apply. And remember, it's okay if you had no reaction at all, as each of our personal experiences is completely unique. We'll give another minute for the poll questions. Okay, thank you to those of you who answered. So it seems like a few of our participants did feel calm, relaxed, sleepy, or experienced another feeling. Thank you for sharing. It's very interesting. Being sleepy is a very common feeling for some of us when we go through some kind of either relaxation, sensory, meditative exercise. And I always say, you know, as we're drifting off to sleep or tired, it is sort of similar to a relaxing state. So I would see that as a positive. A couple of our respondents said they felt energized, right? And I'm not sure what fruit you were eating, but perhaps it was an energizing fruit, or your personal reaction to the fruit was energizing. I know for me, for the mandarin orange, it was definitely an invigorating scent, especially as you peel the skin, and certainly gave me a bit of energy. It made me feel extra energized. So thank you for sharing. If you enjoyed either the lemon meditation exercise or the fruit exercise or both, remember that you can apply them at any time, anywhere, to seek a state of calm, relaxation, or energy. You can use the lemon meditation or expand, as I said, your imagination to another piece of fruit or food at any time to remind yourself of the power of thought and your control over your mood and well-being. Remember your ability to make a change anytime, anywhere. You can use the sensory fruit exercise whenever you're eating or at a specific time when you choose, to be present and truly immersed in the eating experience, to slow down, to seek a moment of calm during a busy routine. I encourage you to seek your senses as a source of strength and power, both for enhancing how you engage with the world and for allowing you to relax. So I'm going to share a couple resources, but I'm going to ask if anyone has any questions, and I see we have one already. Thank you. Please put them in the chat at this time as I go over some final things. So we had a question about if you can retrain yourself, if you have a negative association with a scent, if you can retrain yourself on the scent, and how you respond to it. I think that's a good question. I'm not sure if that's something that research has proven out, but I do know that research has shown after people have lost their sense of taste and smell with COVID, that there is some retraining that can happen with the neural and the olfactory pathways. So that makes me feel like there would probably be some possibility to retrain ourselves. Our sense of smell and the memory associated with it are very established connections. So it may be less about trying to break a negative association than to recreate a positive association, maybe with continuous exposure that would make it more powerful. So I don't know how possible it is to completely eliminate a negative association, but it may be possible to add the addition of a positive association with more strength that could strengthen it over time and could perhaps overtake the negative association. So that's a great question. So I'd like to share some mental health resources, which I like to do in all of my presentations. And these resources are the first two are apps for relaxation. So the Headspace app and the Insight Timer app. If you're interested in learning more about different meditation practices, either reading articles about it or actually practicing meditation exercises, these are two great resources. And I also wanted to share emotional support resources, this through New York State and the other two being national. I'll highlight the crisis text line, which is a great resource. You can text the word hello to 741-741 24/7 in the US to be connected with a crisis counselor. And that's just a great resource to know about, to share, just to be aware of. So I definitely encourage to keep that one in your back pocket. And the recording of this webinar will be shared on our YouTube page in our Center for Healthy Living library. So feel free to check back if you're interested in either anything we talked about here or these resources. And finally, I do want to share, we talked about at the beginning, the Integrative Health Department. And again, thank you to Tony for helping me in giving me guidance in this topic. So on the screen, the phone number for the Integrative Health Department is displayed, and also the website to register for the chair yoga class or other Center for Healthy Living programs. And that can be through our website on here or through our Eventbrite page, which is listed on the bottom. So if there are no other questions, Thank you very much for joining me in this Calming Sense program today. I really appreciate your presence and participation. In the survey, there is room to ask questions. If you didn't get a chance to add them here or you think of them later, please feel free to let us know and include your email so we can get back to you. The recording, as I said, will be shared, and please consider sharing your feedback in the survey because we really value what you have to say. And definitely please explore our other events at the Center for Healthy Living, including chair yoga and our other calming series. And thank you so much for your time. I wish you all well, a lot of calm, a lot of relaxation, and a lot of healthy well-being. So thank you, and this program will now end. Have a great day.